Chapter 42. No! Shera's scream tore through the night as she hurled herself at Kronos. Her body collided with his, knocking him away from Selene. Her mother dropped to her knees, blood gushing from her throat, her strength already fading. Shera clutched at her, but Selene was drifting, her vision spinning into other places, other times. Sand dunes stretched before her eyes, scorched by the desert sun, her skin burned. She needed shade, anything to escape the sun's wrath. Her throat ached with hunger. The blood of her companions pulsed in her ears, so close, so alive, but forbidden. Her father's voice rang in her memory. Do not feed. Never from them. But her hunger clawed at her bones. Then the dunes vanished, replaced by snow, blinding white. She ran across a mountain pass, her hands stained red, the blood warm against the ice. Behind her lay the bodies of those she loved, slaughtered by those who were meant to protect them. All because she had disobeyed, because she had believed him. And her mother was gone now too. Killed. And it was her fault. Kronos' laugh broke through the haze, sharp and cruel, slicing the night apart. You fool! He bellowed, triumphant. You did exactly what I wanted. Shera held her mother upright, her fingers trembling. He knows. Selene's voice was distant, fragile. He knows the truth. Yes, Kronos said, eyes glinting. I know everything. The Sphinx, Torak's blood, your mother's blood, now flowing in my veins. His laugh came again, richer, louder. Shera flinched. The sound made her stomach turn. No, she whispered. Was it all a trap? Had they already lost? Did you never question how he escaped the Sphinx? How a simple human defeated 2 vampires? Kronos sneered. I let him escape. I wanted you both to come to me. And now, here you are. Shera's heart pounded. But if you knew, she asked, disbelief twisting in her gut, why need all this? Why go through it? He wanted to kill us both, Selene rasped. So he'd be the only one left. Exactly, Kronos confirmed, smiling coldly. And I did it. Easier than I imagined. And that mortal? He scoffed. He helped more than he knows. You let your guard down because of him. A human. My son. He won't live, Kronos growled. I don't need him anymore. If I had known the Sphinx's secret back then, I'd have never created him. Shera rushed him with everything she had, fury lighting her veins. But he was faster, stronger. He struck her mid-charge, sending her crashing into the crumbling wall. Pain exploded across her back. You haven't won yet, Shera spat, forcing herself to her feet, stepping protectively in front of her mother. Oh, I have, Kronos said, stepping forward with chilling calm. You just don't realize it yet. Shera didn't wait, she charged him, rage surging through every limb. Kronos was ready. He lifted the gun, aimed, and fired. The shot tore into her side. A flash of fire burst through her ribs. She cried out and crumpled mid-sprint, the impact slamming her into the ground. Pain radiated through her entire body. She tried to rise, but her limbs weren't responding. The world blurred at the edges. The blood pooling beneath her felt warm and too fast. She couldn't move. She couldn't stop him. Now, Kronos murmured, turning his eyes to Selene, who had stumbled forward, reaching for Shera. Don't you touch her, Shera gasped, trying to push herself up, dragging herself across the ground. But Kronos didn't even glance her way. He walked calmly to Selene, who was now standing between them, shielding her. You should have stayed in hiding, he said almost gently. Selene didn't speak, she just stared him down. Kronos' smile faded. Then, in a blur, he moved, but Selene was ready. She met his fury with determination, slashing her hand upward against his chest. He staggered back a step, surprised. I won't let you touch her, she said, voice low and steady. But Kronos recovered quickly. His expression darkened and he lunged forward. He wasn't going to loose now. He would have his victory. This time she couldn't stop him. Her legs slipped and he plunged his hand into her chest with terrifying speed. No, no, Shera screamed, the sound raw and broken. She saw it all, felt it all. The sickening crunch of bone, the spurt of blood, her mother's gasp of pain. And then Kronos pulled back, Selene's heart in his hand, still faintly pulsing. Time stopped. Shera's scream cut through the night, echoing across the ruins like a siren of grief. Kronos dropped Selene's lifeless body to the ground. Then he turned to Shera, holding the heart like a trophy. "This is power," he said coldly, "and now it is mine." He crushed the heart in his fist and let the pieces fall. Shera's vision blurred with tears. Her fingers dug into the stones, blood trailing from her side as she struggled to move. She didn't feel pain anymore, only fury, only the need to make him pay. And she would, if it was the last thing she ever did. "This is such a shame," Kronos continued, raising his gun, "but I can't leave another keeper alive. Not now when I know you won't join me." Hatred lit Shera's eyes. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about ending him. He raised the gun, moonlight painting his face pale silver. Shera didn't move. If this was the end, she would face him head-on. A gunshot rang out, and Kronos' weapon flew from his hand. "Marius!" Kronos cursed. Shera dove for the fallen gun. Kronos lunged at the same moment, but he realized too late that she would reach it first. He changed tactics, slamming into her. They both crashed onto the moss-covered stones, rolling in a blur of limbs and blood. Around them, chaos erupted. Kronos' men poured out of the ruins, but Daniel's forces struck from behind, flanking them. Battle exploded all around them. Kronos didn't care. His only focus was Shera. He struck again, faster than a blink. She dodged, barely, landing a blow to his jaw that forced him back. He came again, and again. They moved like shadows, fast, brutal. Kronos was older, but Shera had evolved. Her strength surprised him, worried him. "Must we fight?" he asked, breathing hard, changing tactics. "We're keepers, Shera. Why not rule together? We could be unstoppable." "You said it yourself," Shera snapped. "2 keepers are 1 too many." She lunged. He stumbled back, retreating toward the ruined wall, then slipped behind it, vanishing into the dark. Shera followed. She landed quietly on the other side, listening. He was here, hiding. "Kronos, it's over!" she shouted. "Your army's gone. You lost." Only silence answered. Then her own voice echoed back, eerie among the stones. "There's no power in the Sphinx," she continued, circling. "It's a myth, a story. You chased a lie." Kronos froze, hidden in the dark. "She's lying. She has to be." "You feel anything yet?" Shera pressed. "Do you think my mother would have fallen so easily if the power was real? I'm her daughter, and I have no powers. You're just a vampire with a bloody ego. You're nothing." Kronos' fury exploded. "Lies!" he roared, launching from the shadows. Shera didn't react fast enough. He slammed her into the wall. "I'm the keeper now," he shouted. "They'll follow me, power or not. I'll burn this world down. Not if I have anything to say about it." Shera drove her knee into his gut and broke free, slamming her fist into his chest. He staggered. She didn't wait. She ran. Across the dry riverbed, past stones slick with moss, into the crumbled tower on the far side. She needed something, a weapon, anything to shift the fight. She stopped. Something was wrong. A presence. She turned and saw her. A child. Huddled in the corner was Andrew's daughter, Carmen. "Number no!" Shera turned to run, draw him away. But Kronos didn't follow. "Damn it!" she swore under her breath, doubling back. "Kronos!" she shouted. "It's me you want!" Then she heard it, the cry of a frightened child, and saw him, emerging from the shadows, Carmen in his arms. "Let her go!" Shera cried. "She's not part of this." "That's not her choice," Kronos said with a smirk. "You care about her, don't you?" Because she's human? Or because she's his? You're wrong, Shera said. I don't care. I just want this over. Kronos tilted his head. Do you know how sweet a child's blood is? It's divine. Then go ahead, a voice snapped. Not Shera's. Kronos turned, shocked. Andrew. Before he could react, Shera was on him. The child fell, crying, and Andrew dove forward, snatching her up and carrying her to safety behind a jagged wall of stone. You're safe now, he whispered, holding her close. Daddy's here. I've got you. Carmen whimpered, still trembling. Carmen, and look at me. It's okay. You're safe. Slowly, recognition lit her eyes. She stopped struggling and clung to him. Andrew turned. Shera and Kronos were locked in battle again, faster than his eyes could track. He drew the gun Marius had given him but didn't dare fire. They moved too quickly. He watched and waited. Then Shera slipped, her foot catching on moss. She stumbled, and Kronos charged. She flew through the air, crashing near Andrew's shelter. Catch! He shouted, throwing the gun. Shera snatched it mid-air, spun, 2 shots. Kronos stopped, blood bloomed across his chest. Shera rose, charged, and tackled him. He hit the ground with a sickening thud. She raised the gun, her leg pinning his shoulder to the ground. Click, 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 the magazine emptied into his chest. Blood spilled, staining the ground, soaking her pants and boots. He lay motionless, but it wasn't over. Not yet. Shera stood above him, staring down at his body. Her breath came in ragged gasps. The gun slipped from her trembling hand, landing beside her with a dull clatter. His eyes, half-lidded, glassy, still stared at the sky. And she knew. This wasn't death. Not for a vampire. Not yet. Around her the sounds of battle had faded. The silence now was suffocating. She could hear the wind. The whisper of moss crushed under her feet, her own pulse thudding in her ears. She dropped to her knees beside him. Her hands hovered over his chest. This was the end. She had to tear out his heart. That was the only way to make it real, permanent. And yet... She hesitated. Her fingers curled over the front of his bloodied shirt, and for a second, just a second, she felt it again. The warmth of a memory. His hand reaching for hers in a dim French alleyway, his smile when she laughed for the first time in years, the way he had touched her like she wasn't something to be feared or worshipped, but something to be known. Ignatius. The name echoed in her mind like a ghost. He was a lie. He had once been her whole world. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. She couldn't. Not now. I loved you, she whispered, voice shaking. I loved the lie. I would have followed it into the fire. She looked at him again. Not at Kronos, the monster, but at the echo of the man she had once trusted and loved. And that's why I have to finish this. Her hands moved fast, efficient and precise. Bone cracked beneath her fingers as she reached into his chest. Warm blood poured over her wrists. She didn't flinch. She found the heart. It was still, heavy, cold, but whole. For one breathless moment she held it in her hands, and then, with a sob that was part rage, part grief, she tore it free. Kronos' body jerked once, then went completely limp. The light in his eyes, what was left of it, flickered out. It was done. His heart fell from her hands and hit the stones below with a wet, final sound. The silence that followed was not just the quiet of a battlefield. It was absolute. Shera knelt there, her hands dripping with his blood, staring at the body of the man who had once meant everything to her. And now meant nothing. Or maybe still meant something. Either way, he was gone. She had ended it, truly. Behind her, Andrew stepped forward, his voice barely more than a breath. It's over. Yes, it was. Without a word, Shera stood. Her face was blank, pale in the moonlight. Her steps were slow, almost dreamlike, as she walked away from Kronos' body. Andrew followed. Within minutes, they reached the plateau where it had all begun. The field was quiet, the battle was over, and for the first time in 2 centuries, so was she. Marius and Daniel's people met them there. "Andrew!" Michelle rushed to him. "Are you okay? Let's check you and the girl." Wordlessly, he followed her to the car. "Michelle," he said as he sat, "what are you doing here? You were supposed to wait." But the words died. What did it matter? She was here now. Michelle gently took Carmen into her arms, checking her with a mother's care. Andrew looked around. Marius and Daniel stood nearby, locked in a hushed, urgent conversation. "What's going on?" he asked Michelle, nodding toward them. "They're deciding whether to hunt down the survivors," she said. "Daniel wants to press the advantage while they are scattered and scared." She hesitated, then looked at him. "Kronos, he's really dead, isn't he?" Andrew nodded once. "Yes." And just beyond them, Shera saw it. A van parked with its back doors open. A heavy wool blanket lay inside, wrapped carefully around a shape that no longer moved, no longer breathed. Her footsteps slowed. She didn't need to ask who it was. Marius had already retrieved her. He had wrapped her with care, the way one might swaddle something sacred. Not as a soldier fallen in war, but as something infinitely more fragile. A mother, a friend, a flame that had finally gone out. Shera stood at the threshold of the vehicle, her hands limp at her sides. The blanket didn't move, no soft breath, no sign of life beneath it. Only stillness. There was so much she wanted to say, so many questions she had never asked. And now only silence to answer them. She didn't reach out, didn't pull the blanket back. She just stood there, the wind catching in her hair, and let the weight of the loss settle. Her mother was dead. This time there would be no awakening, no returning, only memory.